Welcome once again to the Godly Fathers channel. Today, we'll continue our series on a story touching faith through the storm. The Journey of the Matthews Family, Chapter 2. If you have not listened to Chapter 1 of this story, I will encourage you to listen to it before proceeding to Chapter 2. Before we start, if you have not subscribed to our channel, we'd appreciate it if you could just click on the subscribe button. Please subscribe now, and God bless you as you do so. So now let's start on Chapter 2. The phone call came in the dead of night, shattering the silence over the Hamilton household. John jolted awake, his heart pounding as he fumbled for the receiver. Eleanor stirred beside him, her eyes heavy with sleep as she watched her husband's face drain of color. The voice on the other end of the line was a stranger's, but his words were chillingly familiar. "There's been an accident. It's your son, Matthew." The world seemed to tilt on its axis as John absorbed the news. Eleanor gasped, her hand flying to her mouth as she fought back tears. In the blink of an eye, their lives had been irrevocably altered, their peaceful existence shattered into a million pieces. The following days were a blur of sirens, hospital corridors, and hushed conversations with doctors. Matthew had been involved in a car accident, a head-on collision with a drunk driver. He had sustained severe injuries, and the prognosis was grim. The Hamiltons, once a pillar of strength, found themselves clinging to each other, their faith the only anchor in a sea of uncertainty. The accident was a catalyst that set in motion a chain reaction of events that would test the family's resilience to its limits. John, overwhelmed by grief and guilt, withdrew into himself, seeking solace in work and alcohol. Eleanor, her heart heavy with sorrow, turned to prayer and religious rituals, desperately seeking answers from God. The children, too, were affected by the tragedy. Already burdened by her own secret pain, Olivia retreated further into herself, her silence a heavy cloak that suffocated her spirit. Ethan, too young to comprehend the magnitude of the loss, clung to his mother, his wide eyes filled with fear and confusion. The Hamilton family, once a beacon of hope and unity, was now a fractured entity, each member struggling to cope with the devastating blow that had been dealt to their lives. The cracks forming beneath the surface were now widening, threatening to swallow them whole. Their faith, once a source of comfort and strength, now seemed like a cruel joke, a mockery of their suffering. The illusion of perfection had been shattered, and in its wake lay a darkness that threatened to consume them all. That brings us to the end of Chapter 2. We hope that you will join us again for Chapter 3 to know what happens next to the Hamilton family. Thank you for listening and watching. If you find our content helpful, please click on the subscribe button and subscribe to our channel for more Godly Fathers content.